Welcome back. As ever, always a pleasure to have you guys with us, stretching with us, and just having fun taking care of your body, because it's when your body feels good, your mind is stable. We have with us again Drue Michael. Drue, the last episode that you were with us, it was beautiful. I love the pace that you took me through very gently, and I knew you had an agenda, but I think I was a little more prepared. If you'd straight away made me take my legs out, I couldn't have done it. So I loved it. I loved your technique as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Lizette and Akram, thank you so much for staying with us. Really appreciate your help. Also thanks to Ryan for setting up the studio sounds and lights. Really appreciate your help too, Ryan. So thank you. Drue's details are there. His contact details are right there on the screen. They'll also come up at the end of the show. Stay in touch with Drue. You can learn some amazing things from him. If you've seen Drue do his headstand, we'll be posting it on Twitter too. I'm not very media savvy, but you're going to show me how to link up all the Twitter and all the other media. But right now, I am a Twitter, Tweety Bird, or whatever it is. Well, if my president can do it, why can't I, right?
Yes.
Drue, what are we doing today?
Well, last time I was here, we did some seated poses, some good hip openers. I think we'll do more hip opening and some more twisting, perhaps.
Okay.
But I think we'll do some standing poses.
Done.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So let's actually start. I never like to just stand right up. Let's bring ourselves through a downward facing dog first.
Smart.
So we're gonna just bring ourselves onto hands and knees. Hands towards the top. Really spread those fingers. Feel weight in your fingertips. Some people can actually do their down dog with their heels of their hands completely lifted. So
Wow.
maybe that's you. Maybe that's you. Eventually
Nope.
the heels touch, but
I
they're
have to go
lighter.
down. Oh.
So it feels like my hands are being spread really, really wide. And then I'm going to lift up off my knees. That's also going to help if you have the sliding hands. Some people get kind of clammy and their hands
Right.
slide. So the more you can spread and press into your fingertips, the more it's almost like you've glued your hands to the mat. So I'm looking forward just so I can be looking at the camera, but I want everyone else to melt their head down and back. So you should be able to see your toes here. And you could bend your knees and just kind of feel out the backs of one leg, the back of the other leg. Feel like you're really sticking out your tushy. So the sitting bones are really, really high in the air. Take one more breath. Exactly. And there might be a little bit of fire in the arms here, and that's okay. We want that fire to happen. And then very, very slowly, you're going to start to bring your hands back towards your feet. So we're walking like a tiger in reverse. Until you start to feel weight in your feet. And so you're at the back of your mat. I'm going to step forward because I don't want to leave the room. And the knees are bent. All right, so we're in our forward fold Uttanasana. The head releases, and I really like to grab the elbows here, pull the elbows down towards the toes. So if there were going to be 3 poses I did in the morning before I got my day started, this would be one of them. This feels so good.
It does. Oh, wow.
The lower back, backs of the legs. And at some point, if you take your time here, you can even sway a little bit. You really let the head go. You'll start to feel like little parts of your spine are just letting go little by little. You might get some snap, crackle, pops. See if you can lighten up your heels. The weight is a little bit more in the balls of the feet. And then some people might be able to grab behind their calves and then just give yourself a hug, like you're trying to hug your legs closer to your heart. One more breath. And then bend the knees, hands come around to the shins, press through your shins, come up halfway with a flat back. So whenever I teach people in a class, they're always looking forward to see what comes next, but then the back of their neck is short. So I want you to actually look down, let the back of the neck be long, and then feel the belly pull up away from your thighs, but the knees stay bent. It's almost like you're skiing down a runway. I don't actually know that much about skiing, but
I was going to say I don't know how to ski.
I've seen that shape before on television. And then release. Oh. So nice. Bend the knees, and then pretend that you were picking up your mat with the underside of your pelvis. So you're going to lift the pelvic floor, you're going to scoop out your belly, your arms are going to hang, your head is going to hang, we're slowly rolling up. If you're really using your pelvic floor and your belly here to lift, there shouldn't be any discomfort in your spine as you come up. Some people get a little dizzy, so if that happens, bend the knees, allow the chin to stay towards the chest, and then bring your arms up. Good. Palms face one another. Big heart. And again, the same thing happens here. When I tell people to look up, they break the back of their neck. So keep it long. Just look up with your eyes. Pretend like you're giving your optic nerves a nice little stretch today, too. And then, yes. And then close your ribs and pull your belly in. Shoulders down the back. Hands to your heart in Samastiti. Good. Arms down to your sides. Now bring your hands under your hips. We're going to test our balance. And you could feel how you can shift your weight into your left side, into your right side. Knees can be a little bent here. It always helps to bend your knees when you're balancing on one foot. We're going to bring our weight into our left foot, and we're going to lift our right knee off the floor. And yeah, you could hold the knee if you wanted to, but really we're still working on these under the pelvis muscles and the lowest abdominals. So Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. And then we're going to switch. Come into your right foot and lift your left knee. So we're also looking for, are we lifting the left hip when we lift the left knee? We just need the knee, not the hip. And then go ahead and switch. Now can you take your weight into your left foot, lift your right knee, and then some people at home will be able to cross their right ankle over their left knee and bring your hands to your heart and just kind of sit down and back. Now if balance is an issue, you could also just take
That's a tricky one.
your calf across your shin. So this is not a bad one. And secretly I'm massaging the back of my calf with my shin.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so this is better if balance isn't great or if hip mobility is limited. And you could also hold on to a chair.
Oh, that might help, yeah.
People at home, if you have a chair, I only have a microphone. I'm not going to try to hold on to that.
No, you don't want to do that.
I'm just going to have to make it happen.
So you got it above the knee.
Yes, so just my ankle is over my left knee, and I'm sitting my butt back enough so I'm creating a shelf with my left thigh.
Okay, that's a lovely tip. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling a little better now.
Good, and you look great. I'm seeing you peripherally.
Right.
Very focused. And then I'm gonna fall out of it, and we're gonna switch sides. So we regain, if we have a little fire in the fire leg, I always call the balancing leg the fire leg. You can shake it out. We come back into now the right foot. We're going to lift the left knee, cross the left ankle.
It's amazing how the other side always works better because I know what to expect.
Always. We're just a little bit more focused because we're not like, what? We also have some idea of how long we're going to be here now.
Right.
So the mind is at ease. And really sitting the booty back so you feel like there's a shelf. One more breath. And release. And if you need to shake out the fire in the second leg.
Sides, yeah.
You have just a little bit of fire going in the legs. Let's add some more. So we're gonna touch our toes together. Big toes touch, and heels are about 1 inch apart. If that's hard for balance, you could also do your feet wider apart. Just don't let the toes turn out. Keep them at least parallel, if not slightly turned in. So we're gonna do Utkatasana, chair pose. You're gonna reach up, and as you reach up, you're gonna sit your butt back and down. So a lot of things happen here, and I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see. A lot of times, our knees go in front of our toes. We want to be able to see our toes beyond the knees when you look down. The heels are weighted here. The heels are really heavy, and you're sitting back, and you're trying not to reach forward. You're trying to reach up, and you pull your belly in. So think the lower back is getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. Think that the tailbone could touch down between the heels. And just before you think you're gonna die,
That's quite a burn, yeah.
we'll take an inhale, and we'll stand back up. And keep reaching up. Let all that fire kind of melt down the legs back into the floor. So it's as if we were pulling up that prana, and it got a little bit much, and we just like put it back where it belongs. And so we're going to now, let's take our right foot forward. So we'll step our right foot towards the top of the mat. And the back heel is down. And so we want to adjust our hips. So we're both kind of angled inward. But at home, you want to use the front of your mat is how you're kind of deciding how you're going to put everything with your feet and your hips. So my front foot is facing the front of my mat. So it's perpendicular. It's parallel to the sides of my mat, right? My back heel is down. Right now, my back heel is right behind my front foot. So if I drew a line from the top of my mat to the back of my back foot would be right behind my front foot. But I can't get my hips squared. If I'm being honest with myself, I can't. So I have to make my back foot move to the left. So my feet get wider from left to right. And then I can pull this right sitting bone back. I can get the front of my left hip forward. I have a little micro bend in my front knee. So micro bend means you can feel it, but maybe you can't see it. In my case, I can actually see it. And now I'm going to bring my arms up. Pull the belly in. So this is pyramid. And now we're going to bend the front knee. And now this is warrior one.
That was a good tip, bringing the left foot out a little. That helped me.
I always do that. And it can get a little crazy, like it can get too wide, and that's just a little too much.
Right.
You just need it wide enough to get the pelvis squared. Even more advanced students have a hard time with that because they really want to get those feet right in front of the other, but they're not being honest about their pelvis being squared. So bend the front knee, and then straighten through the front leg. Really press down through the heel of the front foot, and then bend, and then straighten. One more time, bend. Now stay bent. We're going to do arms like the wings of an eagle. So we're going to take our arms, palms down. We're just going to try to brush the wrists in front of the foot. So the front knee is still bent, and then we're going to bring the arms back up. Keep the front knee bent the whole time. Brush the wrists over the head. And then back down. We're going to do that 3 times.
Is that a Drue original? I love this.
I just made this up yesterday.
Oh, beautiful.
My pelvis is still squared. So as I come down, I almost feel, instead of letting my butt fall to the right, I have to squeeze my thighs together to maintain. And back up, last time. Good, now we're gonna straighten through the front leg. We're gonna let's take our right hand to our lower back and really feel like you're monitoring the pelvis and the lower spine with your hand. A little micro bend in the front knee. You're going to reach through your left arm like a reaching trunk of an elephant. And I feel a really good stretch happening in the back of my right leg. So hand can touch down. It can touch down on the foot. More advanced yogis could take it to the outside, but really I just need it to be at least under my shoulder. All right, and if your pelvis has already come out of alignment, just make note, bend the front knee, try to square. So here it feels like I'm squeezing my thighs together as I reach my heart forward. And then you could bring your other hand down too, and melt your heart over your shin. We talked a little bit off camera about props So not everyone has them at home. Soup cans will work. But if you had some blocks for under the hands, that would be totally fine. Take one more breath.
Oh, so basically the blocks will bring my arms further up. So
Yes, because our arms are just not as long as our legs.
Right.
Bend the front knee. Again, bring your right hand to your lower spine, and the left arm is going to reach forward. We're going to, I call this ascending the pyramid. So if this were pyramid pose, now we're coming back up it. Woo!
Oh, I feel that.
Yes.
My abductors.
So bring your hands back. Before we do the other side, let's just turn. Let's just pivot left and let our feet be parallel. Arms out to your sides. Just check. Your feet should only be as wide as your wrists of your arms when your arms are out. Does that make sense? So underneath my wrists are my feet. Bend the knees, hands on hips again. I'm going to tip the pelvis forward. Whew. And just release the head down. Hands can come to floor. Hands can come to those soup cans. Hands could come to your ankles. And a lot of what people get nervous about in these kinds of poses is letting go of their head. Because we think that if we let go of our head, we won't be able to balance.
Right.
But it's just a matter of getting used to it, right? It's not, we don't lose balance when we don't have our head. We still have it, it's just upside down. We still have ears. We still have the fluid in our ears that keeps us balanced.
Right, the cochlear fluid, right?
Exactly. Take one more breath. And then bend the knees and slowly roll up through your spine to stand. And now we're going to switch our legs. So as soon as we feel like the blood kind of resettle, we're going to step
it is heady.
towards the back of the mat, and then we'll step forward. So again, we set ourselves up for success. Front of the mat is what we think about. Toes are straight front, back heel is down, but I make my foot come, a little bit more to the right. So instead of being crossed, a little wider. And my stance lengthwise doesn't have to be the full length of my mat either. I shouldn't feel like I'm struggling to stay afloat, right? It should be firmly planted through both heels.
Nicely grounded, yeah.
Yes.
Feels good.
Hips squared. So my right hip is coming forward. My left sitting bone is coming back. A little bend in the front knee. So we did this to begin with. Bring your arms up. Just bend. So we're in warrior one. And then straighten. Lift the belly. Lowest abdominals a few times. The other thing about the second side is because we're more focused, we do it faster. So we always want to tell ourselves to slow down when we get to the left side, or start on the left so that the right side gets the short stick sometimes too. So stay bent. We're going to do our 3 eagle wings. Take your palms down. We're going to reach down, keeping my pelvis squared. I cross my wrists in front of my ankle, and I bring them back up. Keep the front knee bent. I know it's on fire.
Explains that you were a dancer.
I was a dancer,
that's
yes.
Right. No wonder you made up this new one, and it feels so beautiful.
This is from Swan Lake. I never got to dance Swan Lake, but it was always a dream. Third time, come back up. And now straighten through your front leg. Squeeze those thighs together. We bring our left hand to our lower back. Micro bend the front knee. And then reach really long forward through the right hand. Eventually, right hand touches down. Either under shoulder, foot, advanced would be across. And then you start to think about both hands down, release your head down. Another thing that'll happen if you're prone to rolling to the outsides of your feet, you want to press the big toe knuckle down of your front foot. Let your head melt. Two more breaths. One more time. Excellent. Now we have to get back up somehow. So bend the front knee a little bit. Left hand to lower back for support. Reach right arm forward. And ascending the pyramid. Good. One more breath. Hands on hips. Pivot to the right this time. And instead of doing Prasarita Padottanasana, we're going to actually turn our toes out and our heels in. And then we're going to come through a nice wide squat. So hands could be on knees if you want. Let me actually face this way so I'm not staring at you from behind. So we have hands on knees. Some of you can even bring your elbows on knees. It's a little lower. And for the most part, if my butt's way behind me, I want to bring it underneath and my heart lifts up more.
Oh,
Yeah.
going all the way down. Okay.
Yeah. So some
Ooh,
people...
That's tough. How do you do that?
It's a nice little opener for the inseam. Some people can bring their feet closer together and come into Malasana. As long as the heels...
This is much better.
Yeah.
That was tough.
As long as the heels are down. I always instruct wider feet if you can't keep your heels down or if you have knee problems. That wide squat, especially with hands on knees, can be a really good stretch, really fiery, and it can help to prepare you for more like this pose. So for really flexible people that come into Malasana here, this is like really nothing.
This feels good actually, but the other one was tough. Even though you said it was transition, it was difficult for me. It was burning here.
Yeah.
I couldn't hold it. I was just watching you, fascinated.
Well, since I've been doing this pose for so long, and many people in other countries sit like this.
Right,
This is
we
how
do.
instead of chairs. So it just isn't hard for people who are used to this shape in their pelvis. And their knees are used to it, their ankles are used to it. It's actually really good it's a gentle way of strengthening your knees and your ankles over time. Just take
One of my
more breath.
teachers called it the Indian potty.
Oh. This would be the best way to go to the bathroom.
That's right.
Or to have a baby, if it's possible in your birthing plan. One more breath. Bring your hands down and lift your pelvis back up. Parallel your feet and let your head just hang. Maybe you grab your elbows, maybe you have a little sway. Wonderful. Come up halfway, flat back. And exhale, release. Let's do one last thing with our feet wide. So I'm gonna face the same way we started facing. So we're facing whichever way. You can face me, yeah. And so we're back in Prasarita with our feet wide and turned in or parallel. We're going to walk our hands a little bit more forward so that my weight is in my hands too, under my shoulders. And I can even come onto my tippy toes.
Maybe I should go this way because you're going to go really far, right?
Well, I'll probably stop here. So you should feel like you're able to almost come up onto your tippy toes. Parallel your feet a little bit more. Yeah, good. And then we're going to just have the right hand under the face, and the left arm reaches up. So this is a nice version of twisting because our spine gets to be really long here. Everything gets to be long. A lot of times twists are kind of compressed in the abdominals. This is a lot longer twist. And you can take your top arm, if you felt like it was possible, around the lower back and try to take your left hand into your right hand pocket. So a bind. One more breath. And then switch. We're going to take our left hand under the face. Right hand up. So definitely, if you took the bind, take a moment here first. You definitely want to do everything the same way on both sides. So we need time on both sides to really melt into things. And then if you want to take your right arm around the lower back, tuck it into your left hand pocket. For bind, you can. Now here I'm being mindful of my knees. I'm not locking them out. I'm not locking out my left elbow that's supporting me. One more breath. Release the right arm. And then hands come back to the floor. You can pivot to face front. And you can find your way down. Back to a seated pose, maybe on shins. Or you could sit on your sitting bones. This might be a nice way to end in mermaid. Do you like mermaid pose?
No, I don't know which
Oh.
is it. I probably know, but I don't know the name.
Right. Well, I don't know the Sanskrit. Maybe you know the Sanskrit. So we have our feet to the side, and we
Right.
hold our outside ankle, and then the left arm reaches up. So
Oh
our-
yeah, Bharadwaj asana.
What is it?
Bharadwaj. It's
Oh.
named after a sage. Okay.
Oh, okay. Of course, your accent's so lovely when you say things in Sanskrit.
Thanks.
My accent is from the Midwest.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah, I'm from Michigan. I actually have a Michigan tattoo on my back.
Oh wow.
Speaking of my tattoo collection,
I know. I noticed there's another one on your left arm.
yeah, this one is about
Geometric patterns.
a little bit about time, past, present, and future.
Oh wow. We need to talk about that. In more
Oh.
episodes.
And let's switch sides. So hands come down. Let's just take our legs through front, cross to the other side. We hold the outside ankle to keep ourselves from falling over. Right arm reaches up and over.
Folks, while we're marinating in this posture, enjoying ourselves, we don't have to be the only ones here. You're more than welcome. Just walk in with a yoga mat and an ID. Come into our studios.
Yes.
It's 535 or 575, whatever. It's on 59th Street in New York, in Manhattan. 59th.
Take a free
between 10 and
class.
11. That's right.
Yeah.
I get a free class every time I have guest teachers. Amazingly, deceptively easy style.
Yeah.
But you know what? That was a beautiful workout. It looked
Simple
so
and
easy.
effective. Yeah.
It's very simple, very effective. Like Drew, the last couple of episodes you've taken me, I already feel I'm blessed out.
Yes.
Feels really good. Before we wrap up, we would keep going while the cameras are still rolling, but I just want to thank our crew, Lizette and Akram. Lizette Perez, did I say your last name right? Yes, Lizette Perez and Akram Abiskaran. Thank you so much for crewing for us. Thanks to Ryan Stillwagon as well. Thank you for being there. On behalf of our crew, Drew, we'd like to thank you. Drew's credits are right there on the screen. Stay in touch with him.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that. Is that the half lotus?
Oh, my posture?
Yeah.
Kind
You
of. Yeah,
the
I
half
can't do
lotus.
full lotus, so yeah.
No, the half lotus. Yeah, but no, I couldn't do that either. I'm trying that.
Sukhasana? Is this
Well,
Sukhasana?
no, I think Sukha is just this way. I
Oh.
don't know, but that's the easy one.
Or Agni Shambhasana?
What is that?
Double
Oh,
fire log pose?
Oh, wow, I didn't. Okay, so you bring your foot forward? Is that what
Well, Agni is heel over knee and knee over heel.
No, it's not coming that far. That's why I'm wondering how you got that.